All right, we are on page 63, lesson 6, equivalent ratios, and we are checking our homework, the independent practice. So what I want you to do is I want you to check each one, and if you got it wrong, I want you to fix it. If you can't figure out why you got it wrong, please raise your hand and get some extra help from the teacher. But if you got something wrong, make sure you fix your work. All right, let's look at number 2. We had the two rates turned into fractions. So 12 to 3, $12 for 3 books, $28 for 7 books. Now, I found the unit rate because 12 can be divided by 3 and 28 can be divided by 7. So we can get ones in the denominator. So I set this up to find the unit rate. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 28 divided by 7 is 4. The two unit rates are equal. So yes, the rates are equal because the unit rates are equal. For number 3, I also set this up to find the unit rate because I could divide 12 by 3 and I could divide 36 by 9. So I set it up with the price on top so I could get a 1 in the denominator. So $12 for 3 hours, $36 for 9 hours. 12 divided by 3 is $4 per 1 hour. 36 divided by 9, $4 per 1 hour. Since these unit rates are both equal, $4 per hour, then yes, the unit rates are equal, so the ratios or rates are equal too. All right, now let's look at the story problem ones. This is number 5. Jenny is comparing the cost of 2 packages of socks. One has 8 for $12, another has 3 for $6. So look, I can't do 12 divided by 8. I could do 6 divided by 3, but I can't do 12 divided by 8. So I'm going to set it up and see if the fractions are equivalent. 8 socks for $12, 3 socks for $6. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 8 divided by 2 is not 3. I don't even, 8 divided by something, it's going to be some different number. So these are not equivalent. These fractions are not equivalent. So the rates are not equivalent. So no, the fractions are not equivalent, so the rate is not equivalent. All right, number 7. Remember, we wanted to set up the fractions so you had problems per minute, problems per minute. So Kira had 6 problems for 30 minutes, and Heath had 18 problems in 40 minutes. Now, again, you can't really find the unit rate. You can't do 40 divided by 18. You could do 30 divided by 6, but you can't do 40 divided by 18. So I set it up to see if the fractions were equivalent. 6 times 3 is 18. 30 times 3 is not 40. So 3, it does not have times 3 in the numerator and the denominator. So this is no good. The fractions are not equivalent, so no, the rates are not equivalent. All right. Now, you have finished the independent practice. If you have any questions before going on to the next step, make sure you check in with the teacher. All right, after checking your homework for lesson 6, equivalent ratios, we are going to get our learning journal. And we're going to reflect on the 2 methods that we learned about. So just keep in mind, remember, the 2 methods were to see if 2 rates or ratios are equivalent. Find the unit rate if you can. If you can easily find a unit rate with division to get a 1 in the denominator, compare the unit rates. If you can't do that, then compare the fractions and see if the fractions are equivalent. When you turn the rates or ratios into a fraction, see if they're equivalent. Those were the 2 ways. We're going to be writing about these 2 ways in our reflection. So, in your math learning journal, let's turn to the next blank page and let's fill this out. We are going to need to put our learning objective G and today's date, and let's just look through what we have to do before you pause it and record it. The first thing you're going to have to do are list the 2 ways. So 2 ways to determine if rates are equivalent is to see if the blank are equal or if the blank are equal. So what are those 2 ways? I think this should be R. 2 ways to determine if rates are equivalent are, so this is one way, this is the other. And then number 2 and number 3, you're going to have to pick one of those two ways. So which way would you use for number 2? Number 2, when comparing 12 cans for $4 to 18 cans for $6, I would see if the rates are equivalent by finding and comparing the what? Because why? Why did you choose that method? So out of these two methods, which one would you use for this problem and why? And then show your work and solve the problem. For number 3, when comparing 16 cans for $5 to 32 cans for $10, I would see if the rates are equivalent by doing what? Which of these two methods would you use and why? Why would you use that method? Then show your work. Now, there's a problem, number 6 on page 63. That's what you can do when you're finished. Again, what are the two ways that we use to determine if rates are equivalent? Which of those two ways would you use here and why? Solve it. And then which of the two ways would you use in this problem and why? And then solve it. So I'm going to put this here. You can go ahead and pause it and copy this first part down and then play when you're ready for the next part. Here's number 2. So pause it and copy down number 2. When you're ready, play it for number 3. And then here's number 3. Copy that down. Make sure you get it all filled out so your teacher can see it. If you don't remember the two ways, you can look back at page 60 and 61. Those were the two ways that we determined if ratios and rates are equivalent. Okay, last thing. Let's finish up this lesson 6. It's kind of a long one, isn't it? All right, lesson 6. Let's go to our learning objective page. I can determine if a pair of rates is equivalent. Let's fill out using that scale of 1 to 5. Where are you at after learning about this? Fill out your number right in this middle column. Good job. Lesson 6 done. Only one more to go.